Welcome back. We just got done speaking in studio here with Rich Voss, who's going to be at the St. Charles Funny Bone tonight, the streets of St. Charles. If you got a night free tonight or tomorrow, I encourage you to get your tickets at stlewisfunnybone.com to go see Rich Voss. You can check out that interview on our podcast when it's up. And we have another in-studio guest. This is a fun Friday in our tiny little studio that we're working with. Coeur Malone is in studio with us. Hi.
Hello. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Well, I need some sunglasses. It's a little bright in here with those teeth.
Oh, God.
No,
You're going right into
we
it.
thought he was talking about the light.
I was going to make a high-maintenance Ryan Wiggins joke, and it was really, I couldn't.
No, you can't do that now.
No.
Thank you, Corey.
Thank you.
Shoot.
I'm glad I'm not self-conscious about my teeth. That was a trip. So, Coeur Malone, you were the owner of Air Comfort Service, one of my longest partners here on the show and with the station. You've been such a great partner with us. But I wanted to talk to you today and invited you in the studio so that you could talk about NAMI, which is a heart project that you have with Air Comfort Service.
Yes.
Regarding mental health awareness. Talk to us about what NAMI is and why this is an organization that you picked.
Well, unfortunately, a couple of years ago, mental health really rocked my family, and we lost my niece. And it's a situation that, unfortunately, people think if you think in your little bubble that you're not affected by mental health, you're fooling yourself.
You just don't know.
You're blind to it because, unfortunately, you're somebody in your family, your closest friend's family. I mean, I'm just trying to think of things that, thinking back on, talking to my friends and coworkers and people in the industry of my little bubble. And once you start talking about it, everybody's affected.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it's permanent. When somebody makes this decision to harm themselves, it affects so many people, and it's so hard to. It was my sister's daughter, and my sister, and my brother-in-law, and my sister's other daughter, my other niece. They're destroyed. And
it's irreparable.
You can't come back from it. And fortunately, my sister and her family have really taken it under them they have a NAMI. NAMI's national. So they have an organization in North Carolina that they work with, and it's massive.
It's the National Alliance on Mental Illness, NAMI. So NAMI St. Louis is what we're working with here, but NAMI is a national organization.
Yes. And so right when it happened, we're like, okay, we got to do something. And we got a hold of NAMI, and my recruiter, who is retired military, has a lot of PTSD and a lot of other things, and he was familiar with them, and he's like, he got us together, and we started to, how can we help? How can we support? And so they have a walk every year, and that's tomorrow, and that's kind of why I'm here to let everybody know it's going to be a beautiful day. Maybe a little rain, but hey, it'll clear.
Yeah.
But it's at Creve Coeur Park, Creve Coeur Lake. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. It's a massive event. I'd really encourage everybody to get out if you can. It starts you get there about 8:00. The walk itself starts at 9:30. It's a 1 or 2 mile walk, and last year was their biggest, and they're expecting even bigger this year.
Really?
Yeah. So it's really cool because you see all these organizations, all these families. I mean, there's just a mom and dad with their kids and their dogs. Yeah. And then there's, big companies and, all, SSM.
And they're all people who've probably been personally touched.
Yes. Yeah.
Maybe very, very closely personally touched. Maybe it's somebody who is maybe a second or third distant relation, but it just ripples. Like, people matter.
They do.
Humans matter.
They do.
And we don't really have a society that stops to consume that.
Well, and we're barraged by it every day. I mean, every waking second, especially now. I mean, you guys have been talking about it for a while, how much, you get barraged by things you don't even know what's real, what's not real. And it just affects everybody differently. And, we've got to be able to step back a minute and just look to your left, look to your right and say, yeah, these are people.
Yeah. Like, what's the real priority in life? It's not a political win. It's not some sort of, thing that you can compete for and win. Should it be like something that you see in the news or whatever? It's just like, at the end of the day, all of this is supposed to matter because we're humans.
Yes.
Like, that's supposed to be the whole point.
Yes.
And it's often so easily lost. And there are really smart people who know how to reprioritize your life for you so that we do miss these moments to where we can stop and pause and see people in our life that need a little extra from us.
Oh, definitely. And just the walk tomorrow is just a small thing. Oh, it's not a small thing, but it's just a thing that you can just take a couple hours out of your day, spend a great Saturday with your kids, with your dogs.
Yeah.
And what I would suggest is after you leave the NAMI Walk, go to your local farmer's market. And, that's something that my family's done just this past year. And just support people locally and get to know people that are your neighbors and get to know the community. Exactly. And the great thing about NAMI in this walk is it's a massive community. So it's so neat. Last year, I think they had there's fire trucks all over the place, the big ladder trucks. The kids love seeing that. And then there was police from, I think, every municipality was there, I believe.
Really?
So it was just really cool to see these police in all their different uniforms. It's just the guys and women that are taking care of your neighborhood.
Yeah.
And they're out supporting this
Coming together.
Yeah, and it's just so neat to see just people of all walks of life, every shape, size, color, doesn't matter. Everybody's out for the same thing, and it's a great weekend.
Corey Malone in studio with us, the owner of Air Comfort Service. And if you want to learn more about the NAMI Walk, you can go to aircomfortservice.com/community. We're talking about the NAMI Walks event tomorrow at Creve Park, of course, May 16th. And we're inviting you to be a part of it. Yeah, I'm wondering, Corey, in your personal situation or having partnered with NAMI St. Louis, other things you've learned. I always, I have kids. You've got kids. We've talked about some of the overlap. Mine are younger. My youngest is 16. Your youngest is
21.
21. And I don't know what the social media climate was as you were raising those kids, because they're probably making their own decisions now. But I am making those decisions for my kids, but I'm starting to think about letting go of some of those restraints because they need to be able to live and make good decisions on their own, of course. But you talked about the things that you can see online that you don't know that are real. The truth is that there are a lot of people, they're predators out there that are reaching out towards our kids. I don't know how old your niece was, but there are so many stories of kids that are affected by this underground culture that tries to steal their life away from them. And I don't think that a lot of parents know that this really exists as real as it does and is as pervasive as it is in some of the most innocent places that it can present itself. I'm just wondering, any advice that you have with your partnership with NAMI St. Louis on signs to look for or actions to take or questions to ask or just anything you can impart upon us? Well,
I think one thing is how teenagers can be.
Yes, I do.
Yes, you're living it. They know. It's a safe site. It's safe. I'm playing with friends that are safe. Whatever. My son during COVID, that's how he hung out with his friends.
Right.
Was over the computer. Unfortunately, we might have had some in person, gatherings, but
you free people in Missouri. We're
but
still envious.
You hear the stories of Zach would tell me about somebody who tried to jump in on one of their games and from out of state, and they would check them out, and they're legit. And okay, well, how about we just don't do that anymore?
Yeah.
So he and his friends did a really good job policing themselves, but there's I think the biggest thing is withdrawal. The kids are always going to withdraw. They're just going to be in their little bubble with their friends and do what they're going to do. But I don't think it's inappropriate until your child is whatever you guys decide, but I don't think it's inappropriate to be able to go in and see what they're doing and kind of follow them around and if they're going to be on a computer, be in out in space where you can see what they're doing.
Yeah, less private areas. But the digital goes into the private areas is where a lot of times those things can creep in, because it's not like your kid's a bad kid.
No.
These people out there looking for your kid.
And the good kids are the ones that they prey on.
Yeah.
My niece was 30. So she dealt with it growing up, but then went away to college and got a hold of some kids that weren't the best influences on her. But my goodness, she worked in a global organization. She helped entrepreneurial young people that she would go all over the world helping them set up companies and helping them develop business plans. And when she passed, we were getting letters from, all through Asia, through South America, Africa, all through Europe. And she would go, on trips throughout Europe, and she would just call people that she knew from her organization she was working with, and they all loved her. And her impact, her footprint was massive.
Yeah.
But at the end, it was her, and that was it in her mind.
Yeah.
And so I think it was just she dealt with it for a long time. And unfortunately, my sister and my brother-in-law tried to do everything they could for her. Just they couldn't.
Yeah. That's a story that there are people listening right now who know exactly. You're telling them their story. They have experienced that in their own family. And I think that a walk like this, when you can go be present at Creve Park tomorrow and participate with a whole bunch of strangers that probably know something personal about you or have a connection to you that is so personal, that's got to be very uplifting for the people who are participating in that, and probably motivating to, I don't know what the next thing is, but to do the next thing. And just, we live in such a digital screen-based society. You can't see people when you're not looking at people.
Right.
And so this is a good example of being physically present with people and seeing them and being seen with them, to say this matters more than, what's on the screen or what's in your bedroom on your computer, or, just all those places that we seclude ourselves to be alone. You can kind of create your own reality when you're not participating in reality, and
Sure.
It can be very dangerous.
And sure enough, those predators are going to find out what your reality is, and they're going to step right into it and take you even deeper down. This is an organization, or this is a situation that, going into it, I'm always like, man, this is the saddest thing ever.
Yeah. It's a difficult thing to come together and rally for with some sort of joy, because it is so deeply depressing.
Yeah, but then you get to celebrate their loved ones, and you hear the stories, and as you're walking, somebody you don't even know, you start talking to them, and why are you here? And they'll tell you. And as a parent or as a friend, if you can, or an employer, I mean, I take this very seriously with our employees. If you can pick up one or two little tidbits of things to look for, like you just asked, what do you look for? What's some signs? If you can find something that you notice in your kid or in your really good friend, or let them know because their kid's struggling, that might save them.
Yeah.
And if
Literally.
we can save, it's such a cliche, but it's so true. If we can save just one person that's close to us, it's well worth it.
Well, Corey, I know you personally, and of course you've done quite a lot of HVAC service at my house, as well as a partner with us here on the show and the station. But these are the things that when I'm working with people, when I'm partnering with people, these are the things that make it so important to work with good people, to be able to turn our listeners over into the hands of good people who care about the right things. And I want to thank you for making this part of your message here on the station, is to bring attention to it. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, but this walk is happening tomorrow. It's at Creve Park, and people can go to aircomfortservice.com/community to find out more about this event and to sign up and just show up. I mean, I assume that there's not really, is there anything you got to do to, you got to sign up or anything?
No, but it's not too late to put a team together. So you can go to NAMI, NAMI walks.org/St. Louis, and you can still get a team together and try to get some donations, and any little bit helps. You don't have to sign up. You can show up. It's going to be very obvious where it is, because there's going to be a big crowd.
Yeah.
We would just love to see people out and enjoying the day and celebrating these lives of people that we couldn't help.
Amen to that. Well, Corey, thank you for doing that. Thanks for coming in to talk about it today.
Well, thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Of course. Wouldn't miss the opportunity. aircomfortservice.com/community. And one more time, the website where people can sign up for the to sign up their team?
NAMIWalks.org/St. Louis.
All right. Corey Malone in studio with us with Air Comfort Service. We're going to take a quick break here. Don't go away. We'll be right back.